The Kardashians keep courting controversy. We've got the latest on director Ryan Coogler's scary situation at the bank. Black Adam and the sequel to Shazam are moving on Warner Brothers' slate. Plus, backlash and anger is growing at Disney amid the CEO's stance on the Don't Say Gay bill.
We're all talking about it right now on The Take.
Hey everyone, and welcome to The Take. I'm Elizabeth Wagmeister.
And I'm Clayton Davis, and we're here to give you our take on some of the week's biggest stories. It's been quite a week, Elizabeth, and you did a story that has got everyone talking.
Yes, so this week on the cover of Variety, we profile the Kardashian-Jenner family in a business story about their return to reality TV. They weren't gone for too long, but they are heading to Hulu with a new massive deal that we have exclusively revealed is worth 9 figures. Now, Clayton, as you just touched on, a lot of people are talking about this story, particularly something that Kim said. One of the many things that she and her sisters and her mother said in this piece was that her best advice for women in business is to get off your ass and work. Now, there's been a lot of polarizing conversation, and I have read it all, and I appreciate it all, and that's, what stories do. It gets people talking, and people do talk about it. But to me, one of the things that's interesting is this is something that has happened with the Kardashians for the entirety of them being in the limelight. People love to hate them, and they are a lightning rod. In this piece, we actually do say that to some they are businesswomen, to others they're everything that is wrong with consumer capitalism. But let's get back to the story. Some of the things that we revealed is what the Hulu deal is going to look like. They're going to have a new show. It's presented more documentary style. The deal is for 40 episodes total, spanning over 2 seasons. This is the first time that we've gotten any insight into what their new show will look like at Hulu. Again, there's a lot to talk about. Everything that they say does capture attention, and that is what they do, but I'm curious, what do you think about all of this?
Well, it's very interesting that a message for women would be stop being lazy, coming from Kim Kardashian, who started this career of hers off by being famous, which some people will argue that's why they're famous, for being famous. But having a silver spoon and starting on third base, acting like you hit a home run, is not really the take I think you should take when talking about this business venture that you're embarking upon. And thank you for doing a lot for criminal justice reform, but the messenger seems to be flawed. But that's the whole essence of reality television, which actually brings us to Love is Blind, because Love is Blind had a reunion this week where all the cast members came together. It was a huge hit for Netflix. In particular, Shake, one of the cast members, the villain of this season, did a lot of talking and threw some shade at Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey, which you never do.
Yeah, no, you certainly don't do that. I'm going to make an admission right here. I have not watched this season yet. I am so behind. I've been keeping up with the Kardashians. So I do need to catch up, but there's been so much said about it, so I cannot wait to watch. I watched first season and loved it.
It's a hate watch. You'll love it.
Exactly.
Moving on now to Ryan Coogler being detained in Atlanta in January when he went into a Bank of America with sunglasses and a mask on and being mistaken for a bank robber. He was detained briefly and then released. The details are a little muddy, but it shouldn't have happened. It's just another instance of Black people being black in the world. God forbid you walk into a bank and you need some money withdrawn, and then you have to be detained. In Atlanta, he's an Oscar-nominated producer. He handled Black Panther. This is, again, just like exhaustion at its most with me right now.
When we were covering this story at Variety, I was just thinking, it's such a wild story. And like you said, it should have never happened. It's almost unthinkable that it did happen. He was doing absolutely nothing wrong. And I can't imagine how terrified he was to all of a sudden, if you look at the footage that's been leaked, you see him and he's being handcuffed. He has no idea what he is doing. He was very calm in the video. He handled it incredibly well. He actually, though, told us at Variety, he said this should have never happened, but everything is okay now. But it's just, I mean, like you said, this should have never happened. There's really nothing else to say.
Another example of change that needs to happen.
Yes, well, speaking of change that needs to happen, there is backlash growing inside of Disney with employees very upset at CEO Bob Chapek for his stance or not taking enough of a stance on the controversial Don't Say Gay bill, which has been passed by the Florida Senate. Now, this bill, as I said, has created a lot of controversy. Bob Chapek said that he met with DeSantis, who assured him that the bill would not be weaponized. Well, first of all, my take, and I know that a lot of people's take, certainly in the LGBT community, is that this bill is designed to be a weapon to be able to tell children that you can't talk about sexual orientation or talk about being gay in school is just wrong. That's flat out wrong. So that goes without being said. But where it comes to the Disney of it all, this is a huge company who puts out programming that, yes, they have done a lot for the LGBTQ community. But I have to tell you that I have been talking to a lot of employees within the company. They are outraged. They feel like they are not being heard. So first of all, just as a CEO, you need to listen to your employees and hear how they feel. But also, when you look on the outside, you are a business that puts out content and you help shape the minds of kids. Now, also, I did not realize, but I looked into this. There has never been a gay lead character in a Disney original full-length film. Yes, in some shorts there has been. There's never been a lead character who is gay. That is just not okay. And also something else that is leaked throughout this whole controversy is employees of Pixar are alleging in a letter that a same-sex couple in one of the animated films was asked by executives to be taken down, basically to minimize that relationship. I mean, that's just not okay.
Well, this brings me to my soapbox. I have to get on it. I'm tired. I'm tired of having this fight constantly with people in the world. I'm tired of rich white dudes sitting by idly while laws are passed that hurt LGBTQ kids, that hurt black people. I'm tired of saying Black Lives Matter and someone coming at me saying, well, all lives matter. I'm just tired of all this, and I'm tired of people thinking that Trump was the problem, and now that he's gone, it's over. He was the tip of the iceberg, but rich white guys will step in when their taxes get raised. So I need people like Bob Chapek to step up and do something about it, because you can't just sit by while this happens. And my hope right now, and I have 2 kids, I have a son with autism. All kids are built differently. They're made differently. We're not trying to cure anyone. We're not trying to change anyone. Just accept people for who they are, and let's just move on. But I'm just like, I'm so spent by the same conversation over and over.
Yes, and we, of course, are allies of the LGBTQ community. We stand with them. We stand with the employees at Disney that feel like they aren't being heard. And also, I'm so glad that you brought up your kids. Shout out to Noah and Sophia. I miss you guys.
Yeah, all the LGBTQ kids watching, you're loved. We're with you. And now we move to Warner Brothers, which has done some shuffling around of their entire slate. Aquaman 2 has moved to 2023, along with a few other projects. Black Adam moved back 3 months. And then we're going to get the sequel to Shazam 2 at the end of this year, around Christmas time. No real reason of why all the shuffling happened, but we're gonna get an extra superhero movie this year. Black Adam is gonna come out in October. Big movie with The Rock. It's expected to do billions of dollars, I'm sure. But Warner Brothers has a really strong, looking at their slates coming up, I'm really excited by what they have coming. And there's also, outside of the superhero, they have a lot of things.
Yes, and as you said, The Rock, Black Adam, I always bet on The Rock. Also, Shazam was a huge outing with the first one. By the way, that is produced by The Rock's production company. But I don't really care when these things are shifting, why they are. We don't know the reason, but what I'm excited about, as you said, is this is a great slate, and to get people back in movie theaters is exciting. And these are some big tentpole movies, and I think people are going to run to theaters. We've obviously been seeing that with Batman and with Spider-Man. So I think after COVID and being at home on our couches, this is a great thing.
Yeah, they'll do it for the right projects, and we're excited for it.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Well, thank you as always for joining us right here on The Take, and we will see you back on Fridays.
Thanks for watching.